Here's a t-shirt. These are scissors. Go crazy. Do I look like a girl who cares that people look at me funny? Give me a few hours, I could so make that. Happy snipping! Hey viewers, it's Cara. This is tip number 2 in my T-Shirt Recon Basics series, cut and tie. If you missed the first video, it was basically just on scoop necklines, and I'll put a link to it so you can check that out as well. But now let's get snipping. Cut and tie is essentially cutting snips in the side, front, back, diagonal, horizontal, vertical, whatever, of your shirt and tying it in little bows. It ends up looking something like this, especially if you don't cut off the long parts of the bows, like, because I like them like this, because it's kind of funny. But you can cut them off and just make them little knots. This is another thing that athletes do a lot, I think. I feel like we get a lot of our basic t-shirt recon stuff from athletes. But yeah, this is what it looks like close up, and yes, you can see through them, so you can wear something under it or not. It just depends on what you want to do. So this is the shirt we're working with. It's already got a scoop neckline. Look at that. And I also hate the sleeves, so I'm going to cut the hems off the sleeves before I continue. Whatever your scraps are, if you think you will use them later, save them. I like to do my cut and ties on the side. You definitely don't have to, but that's how I'm going to demonstrate it. So the first thing we need to do is cut this in half. In other words, cut out the side seam, if there is one. I'm actually going to turn this bad boy inside out to do that. And the rest of this isn't really going to be done on the dress mannequin because I can't cut sideways toward her. So this one does need to be done on a table, on the floor, on your lap, yada yada. You will notice, I'm sure, when you cut out the side seams and lay your shirt flat, this is still inside out, that they don't match up on the sides perfectly. It sort of, one is longer than the other. And I don't know if that's because they make them a certain way so that it sits back on your shoulders more or what, but it always annoys me when I go to do this. However, just match up your bottom corners and make sure that you match up the bottom of your armpit and just line it up along the side and still just do the cuts the same way. Don't worry that it's not all flat in the middle. I worry about it because I'm particular like that, but it really doesn't make a difference. Just make sure all this stuff is lined up when you do this next step. Alright, I've got my sides lined up as much as they're going to be, and I do have my bottom hem intact. Some people will tell you to cut it off. That's a personal preference. I like to just make mine the final bow because I like having the finished edge. If it doesn't line up, I cut it off in the end, but that doesn't matter. And I do tie all the way up to the armpit. Otherwise, sometimes the sleeves are longer, I cut them short, but sometimes the sleeves are longer and you don't want them to get messed up, sort of. So I make that the first bow as well. So essentially what you're going to do is cut strips all the way down, cut slits rather, it'll form strips, an inch or more into the shirt. It depends on how much bigger the shirt is than you are, it depends on how stretchy the material is, and things like that. Of course, on some t-shirts the fabric curves in, sort of where your middle section would be, like this one does. Don't try and even them up with each other. Go always the same length from the edge, no matter what it is, so it'll curve. As you can see, I'm really not particular with the length specifically. I always try and go shorter if I'm guesstimating because you can always cut more. You can't add more later after you've already cut it off. But just estimate. I've done this enough times. I know what it is for me. You'll have to maybe experiment and see what you like. So like with the neckline rolling, t-shirt fabric does this really cool thing where if you pull it, it gets smaller and stringy like that. So you're going to pull every one of these tabs so it becomes a little bit stringy. Really give it a good tug, it's not going to hurt it. Obviously, if you left the bottom hem intact like I did, it doesn't stretch out, so that's going to be the biggest, bulkiest knot you have, but that's okay. I just realized this is still inside out, silly me, so I need to turn this right side out before I show you the last step. You can cut it either way, it doesn't matter, they're gonna match up. There we go, no harm done. They're still the same amount because we cut them together. So the next and really the last step is to tie all of these little things together in bows. Basically, you just take every pair and double knot it. Mine are actually square knots, but any sort of double granny knot works fine. As you can see, they're starting to get the little holes in between them, and at the end, if your ties are too tight, you can just yank it apart like this, and it'll stretch a little bit more. So continue for the rest of the shirt and I will show you what it looks like when I've repeated on both sides and everything. Both sides are done, finished product. And since I like irony and it says no strings attached, of course I'm leaving the strings long. Oh, and if you like this shirt, I made it to wear to New York City Gay Pride when I went there last month. And I made a tutorial as I did it, but it was really long and I didn't want to. So basically, now you know how to make it. I just showed you how to cut and tie. I just did it all the way down. This is actually a dress. It was a huge shirt. So that's the only difference, is it took a lot longer. And up here, I just cut off the sleeves, cut a scoop neck, and then cut 2 slits down the strap part like I was going to braid it, stretched them out like I showed you with these, and tied them together at the top. So there you go. 2 tutorials in one, basically. Simple enough, huh? That was tip number 2, and now moving on to tip number 3, which needs smaller scissors. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Happy snipping. Because this shirt is gray, I keep thinking they look like elephant trunks, like little mini heffalumps. That clip's going after this one that I'm gonna film right now.